Good evening. I call this special council meeting to order. And Councilman Blocker, if you'd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you stand with me and join me in the pledge here? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, this is open policy making and legislative session. And we need to approve the agenda. Any objections to the agenda? Agenda is approved by unanimous consent. Okay, next is public opportunity on council propositions. Anyone from the public wish to speak on council propositions? Hearing none, we'll move on. Item 6 is resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Resolution 1831 reads by title, a resolution of the City of Crestview, Florida, establishing duties of the mayor and other elected officials, establishing roles of department head until such time as the new city charter is fully implemented, establish a timeline for certain aspects of the new city charter until such time as the new charter is fully implemented, and providing for an effective date. This is Resolution 18-31. Do you want,
Oh.
you want an explanation of the resolution, or?
Any questions, or is anyone prepared to make a motion?
Mr.
Any?
President,
Go ahead,
I don't know if we
Councilman
need
Hayes.
explanation, I don't, but the public might need one. But I'm willing to make a motion if they're not. Mr. President, I move to adopt Resolution 18-31.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion approved, 4-0. Next is Resolution 18-32.
It is 32, correct? It is 32, correct. Resolution 18-32 reads by title, a resolution by the City Council of Crestview, Florida, accepting a petition for out-of-city water service, establishing water service for property located at 2997 Appleton Drive, also known as 21-3N-23-2320-000A-005B, Okaloosa County, Florida, allowing for written objections by citizens and, if necessary, a public hearing within 30 days from enactment of this resolution, providing for a municipal services agreement between the petitioner and the city, and providing for an effective date. This is Resolution 18-32.
Gentlemen, this was a petition found by James and Barbara Levins. They are the property owners who have been at that property for a number of years. They have been serviced by a water well, and there is bacteria found in their well, and they are petitioning the city for water. They do not previously have any service there, so this is not just a change of address. They have paid their fees for tapping the main and for the impact and for application for the water. It actually lies within our water service area. The property is not contiguous to the corporate limits of the city. However, the Levins have signed a petition agreement allowing for annexation of the property if they ever fit the criteria for the annexation policy. Water concurrency and availability is sufficient on behalf of the city to meet the demands of the petitioner as provided for in our comp plan. This will state a 30-day period of enactment of this resolution that in order to provide for a protest of uncertainty where there not a public hearing would be required. And of course, we will hold the executed municipal services agreement and all fees paid associated with it with costs providing the water pursuant to this resolution to the end of the protest time, should that be needed. On the resolution itself, there is a typo. It should say 18-32, not 18-25. So is there any questions?
Okay. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President.
Councilman
Move to
Flocker.
adopt resolution 1832.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilman Hayes.
just, for my, I guess my basic information, since, along this property here, we found, the well that they found, bacteria. And I don't know if, since we're in that same area, can we expect some more of this to happen?
A great number of these people are already on city water.
Another question, how far does our line run down that way on Alpine? Anybody know? Mr. Steele?
We have an 8-inch line that runs all the way to the Okaloosa Lane and actually extends a little past Okaloosa Lane. But we have several different size lines. I think a 6-inch on Dunedin, a 2-inch, over on East Williams, or I may have that right backwards. But either way, we have adequate water. Of course, our wells are serviced from a different aquifer than what these house or home wells are. So wouldn't be any concern with that type of contamination.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's go to the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is city council and mayor updates. Okay. Do what I can here.
Mr. President, I have a couple of items. You're invited to the Crestview High School homecoming. Is that this Friday or the next Friday? Next Friday. The next Friday. At 3 p.m. on first Friday in October, and you're invited to be there, be a part of that on the city float. Also, want to mention too, you start making plans for Friday, November 16th. It's going to be the grand opening of the courthouse at 9 a.m. They're expecting a very large crowd. We've had a meeting about that with city staff and county staff, and I think we have everything in hand, which parts of the street they'll be closed off for the audience to sit, and so hopefully each of us can be there for this important day. Thank you. That's all I got.
Mayor, can you restate that?
It's
Time and-
Friday, November 16 at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
And it had been scheduled later, but we asked if they could move it back because that was moving us into the 12 o'clock time frame, which was going to cause problems. So they agreed to do it at 9 o'clock.
Friday, November 16th. Okay, thank you. Bear with me just a moment here. Get that down, 16. Teresa, do you want to cover some of the city government week, or I'll ad-lib it as best I
Right,
can?
when Mr. Whitten called a little bit earlier, he asked if I would go over it. This is, in your book is actually the flyer. What you had seen before was the ad that goes in the paper. This was a little more detailed. It does show the special meeting on Warriors Hall and the council open house on Monday. On Tuesday, it shows the coffee with the elected officials at Casbah beginning at 8:30. On Wednesday, it shows from 5 to 7 the celebration at the Crestview Library. There, the library will remain open an extra hour, and they're also going to give away a free book for each new library card that's signed up for. There will be displays, exhibits, and refreshments on the inside of the library. The fire department and the police department will be there, and they'll have their fire trucks and the K-9 unit and the SWAT vehicles for the kids to enjoy. On Thursday, there will be, from 6 to 7:30, there will be Councilman Whitten's town hall meeting at the Azteca Restaurant and Councilman Cox's citizen get-together at the Hideaway Pizza in the downtown area. And on Friday, October the 26th, Hub City Smokehouse, the councilmen will be serving the public from 12 to 1. So if anybody wanted to go by there and buy some lunch, they would have a good waiter there. And waitress, I understand if Miss Betsy's foot's a little better, you're gonna be there too?
I'll be
Okay, very good. Is there any questions or additions or,
Yes, I'd like to state I have a personal conflict with the Casbah Coffee. As much as I like being there, I have a right eye surgery to get another precision lens.
oh, another
Good
lens?
morning.
All
Yes,
right.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hayes.
if you add also to that Government Week, I plan on having a town hall meeting on the same day as the other two council people at a different location, which I will announce in October.
Thank you.
Hayes. And it's going to be from the 6 to 7:30, is it the same time frame? Okay, if you can get the location, we
I'm
can,
gonna do that, and I'm also gonna request that our police chief be able to attend, so I'll let him know the date and time, see if he can make it, have a representative there.
very good.
Some of the citizens have requested that he comes along too.
Very good.
Mr. President, I also have conflict on Wednesday, same hours.
So noted.
Okay,
Mr. President, if she's still, I have a update I'd like to do, but
Yep.
not related to Government Week.
if there's no more questions for this, if you'll get me your changes so I can get the flyers finished, that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President, just a couple of things here. I just got back from West Palm Beach last Saturday night, where I was appointed the president of Florida League of Cities executive council. So there's 10 of us from the whole state of Florida, and I'm proud to say I'm one of those that he elected to be on his executive board. During September 12th, during our annual conference, there were certain city resolutions that were approved by the Florida League of Cities, and we've done resolutions concerning those. And I'm just going to mention a few of them, not all of them that we did, but one was a resolution of the Florida League of Cities Incorporated recognizing the week of October 22nd through the 28th as Florida City Government Week, and encouraging all Florida cities officials to support the celebration by participating in the My City, I'm Part of It, I'm Proud of It activities, which we're working on. There's a new city that was brought into Florida. It's called the Village of Indiantown. So that should bring us up to approximately 313 cities that are represented in the city of Florida. We also adopted a resolution recognizing 50 years of municipal home rule in the Florida Constitution, encouraging all cities, towns, and villages to share the celebration of this momentous occasion. A resolution was also passed by the Florida League of Cities opposing Amendment 1 which creates an additional homestead exemption to Florida Constitution, and if adopted, would create additional inequities in Florida's tax system by granting certain tax breaks to some payers at the expense of other taxpayers. And I'll be elaborating on this during my town hall meeting also. We also passed a resolution urging Congress to maintain funding for the Community Development Block Grant Program. Resolution was passed urging the federal government to clarify the deobligation process of previously approved disaster relief funds. As you may or may not know, some cities still haven't got FEMA from last year's storm, and I don't know if we got ours or put it, or we're entitled any, but there's a lot of cities that haven't got theirs. Also passed a resolution supporting the Florida Mapping Modernization and Homeowners Empowerment Pilot Program Act of 2018. Passed a resolution urging Congress to pass the Coastal Community Adaptation Act, and passed a resolution urging Congress to pass the Water Resource Development Act of 2018. Passed a resolution urging the Federal Communication Commission to update regulations addressing radio frequency emissions of wireless facilities, and in particular, small wireless facilities located in public right-of-ways. I don't know if some of you are aware of that, where some of these people want to, companies want to just stick the wireless devices in your right-of-way, and they don't want to compensate you fairly for that. So we're trying to work on that. The rest are pertaining to things that are down, further down south, sort of like the red tide or the green algae or whatever they have down in the way. And we don't, I think they have a little bit of red tide over on our coast, but it's not affecting our cities, but it is affecting some of the other cities. And the Florida League of Cities is here to help all the cities, not just one particular city. So that's that. Mr. President, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other council members? Any items? Betsy, you want to discuss a proposed resolution for the?
It has already been passed. It was passed in August.
Oh, yes, that's correct. Thank you. Okay. Next is staff reports and recommendations.
If you remember at our last meeting, we were talking about how soon we could get items to the workshop, and we we're working on the itinerant vendors regulations. Well, when we cut our opening to approximately an hour, conversations with Councilman Whitten and myself, we decided that maybe a special workshop might be the most advantageous way in order to go over this these documentations. So I've looked at your calendars, and you're pretty packed. I come up with October 15th. Would be the third Monday of September. But I'm sorry, of October. I'm sorry, my thing up here says September, so September, October, so it'll be October 15th. And unless there is another avenue that you wish to take, the October does have a fifth Monday, which is the 29th. That puts you right after the Government Week and Fall Festival and a lot of activity, so it may just be a good time to rest that week. You have a calendar in your book that you'll be able to look at and give me some idea of when you would like that presented to you. One of the reasons that the October 15th would also be good is it would give you a perfect time to discuss the the garbage service contract results. Is that right, Miss Betsy?
If it is necessary to have presentations, that way we can do the first reading of the ordinance at the October 22nd meeting. It depends on how the bids come out and what they look like.
I'm good with that. Other council member inputs?
I have no problems with that date, Mr. President.
Is everybody good with,
Time.
at a time?
Okay. You want 5, 5:30, 6 o'clock? It will take probably 2 hours to go through the documentation and to allow for a bit of question and answer period. So,
How about 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, I
Does that work for everybody? We're good. 5 o'clock,
thank you.
15. All right. Mr. Steele, do you have anything?
No, sir, Mr. President.
Mr. Grant?
No, sir.
Library?
No,
sir. Fire Department?
No, sir.
Tony? Okay. When the listing itinerant vendor regulations is on the,
On October 15th.
oh, okay, got it. All right. All right, any comments from the audience? Anyone from the audience want to speak on these issues? Hearing none, I'll close that and adjourn this meeting.